my purple plant.
What are these? Look so healthy. What are these?
Those are bee plant. That's Scrofularia californica. Rose thing that you guys just transported rose is going out today. We got this rose contract way late because this is typically happens that contracting and financial offices never ever line up with biological schedules. So we should have had the contract way a year ago, but we got it in June or something, and they wanted the rose right now. Okay, but they wanted it in 1 gallon, all right? So we sort of had this little panic attack, and we started sowing rose in September, which is a little early to start sowing. And it didn't come up, and it didn't come up, so we just kept sowing. We sowed hundreds of roses. Well, they all came up in November, no matter when we sowed them. It was July, August, September, October, November. All the roses came up in November. So what the little holes are where ones did come up. I mean, even though when I say they didn't come up, that's not literally true. It's the masses of them didn't come up. You know, you still get a little bit of germination. So now we've got rose coming out of our ears. Send Leah on the street corner at Farmer's Market. Rose, rose for sale, rose.
I'll take some.
Or something. I don't know.
Do you call it roca when you say go get the roca?
Yeah, go get the roca.
He hires from students from Cal Poly, usually, but it'd be worth talking to them. It's a good federal government job. You get your own company card, everybody gets, and your job is driving around and meeting with all these big landowners and helping them fix their property up. Pretty sweet project, but good agency. BUREC is the Bureau of Reclamation, and we work with them a lot. Lake Cachuma, the Bradbury Dam, is managed by the federal government, Bureau of Reclamation. 5, 6 years ago, they had to raise the height. I think I talked about in this class. They had to raise the height of the dam, so they could store more water, so they could release it for the steelhead. We got a big fat restoration contract out of that. They also manage Laurel Dam and some of these other dams from when the water comes through the tunnel through the mountains and it goes to some reservoirs before it gets then put into your pipes in your house. And anytime they have to do maintenance on the dam, protect land, and then there's restoration involved in the National Park Service. Yosemite, all the major parks all have restoration ecologists that work for them. Locally in the Channel Islands, we've got seabird stuff that we're working with them on, the wetland, coastal wetland that you'll see if you go out to Santa Cruz Island. So that's our park here. It's the Santa Monica Mountains National Recreation Area. It's part of the National Park Service. There's all kinds of restoration going on down there. Their offices are in Westlake down there. For the Park Service here, the offices are in Ventura, right at the harbor there. NPS rents like 3 big office building complexes. Go north, Sequoia's a national park. There's a lot of national parks. Every national park employs restoration ecologists do this stuff. EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. You'll get restoration projects from them when it has to do with toxic waste and stuff like that. They also have a really good grant program for teaching kids about the environment. Out of Oakland, so they took one person from each agency, put them all together, and the idea there was that you could have a better planned project, you could better manage a project, better manage money if it was, not all these different agencies working independently, that they're all working together. And they all work together out of the Coastal Conservancy office. They have a really nice publication. If you Google them, I think you can get it for free as a student. It comes out every other month about all the work that they're doing. It's called the Coastal something. Really good group. Locally, our representative of the Coastal Conservancy is a woman named Rachel Couch, which we work very, very closely with. The funding for the Prisoners Harbor project is from her, from Coastal Conservancy. Rachel Couch used to work for Susan Rose, second district supervisor, and was the one that got us this property right here. So we work with your personal relationships with these people. Big players in restoration. California Conservation Corps, the CCC. There's also a federal one, the U.S. Conservation Corps. We work with them a lot because they have big batches of labor. It's not free, it's not even cheap, but they've got big trucks and they've got all the equipment and they're well trained, and you need 30 people, hard-working people that do conservation work. You contract with the Conservation Corps and they come in and they power it out. We work with them a lot. Mainly minority kids, at-risk kids. They're looking for a job, looking for a way to get out of all the drug-infested mess that their communities are in and everything, and they want to do something positive. And
trade, there are standards. One of the standards is 1 plant per 1 gallon pot, 1 species per pot, 1 fully rooted plant. This would be, but not root bound. That gets to be a little bit subjective. This would be considered fully rooted, not root bound. It's got the form, but it's not so bound up, that it's this, sort of brick kind of thing. So this is a perfect plant. 1 plant, fully rooted, holding its form, good to go. We like that. What do you think of this guy?
Doesn't look too healthy.
Not so rooted.
Not so rooted. Okay.
One
Fully rooted, ready to go?
No.
No. Is this something we would want to sell right now? No.
Next time.
Could we use this in our own project?
Sure.
Yes, absolutely. See, it is sprouting. There's nothing wrong with this plant. It just does not meet industry standards. Now, depending on who you're working with and your relationship with them, depends on how far you can kind of tweak that and how much they understand biology. Because sometimes a plant like this is actually going to push faster and thrive better than something, that is totally
Root bound.
and been in a pot. Well, see, and look at that. Surprise, surprise. I would have thought that one would have been root bound. So, sort of a mixed bag here. But you want to kind of be careful. Like this is going to be. Okay, see, so this would be root bound plus. This would be a bit overly root bound. Somebody could theoretically complain about that, that it's overly root bound and they could reject it. Now, given it's a wetland plant, they probably are not going to, because it's going to be fine too. So, like I said, it's kind of subjective. There is a lot of leeway. But there are industry standards that you want to keep in mind. So, but the roads up at Barone were too wet, and the road here was too wet, so trucks couldn't get out either place. So we had to put it off till today.
takes care of that parking lot. I didn't mention the players as far as private companies. So there's a whole series of restoration consultants too, and big companies like URS and Tetra Tech and SAIC. And Tito's company is called what? Do you remember what it's called?
Tito's company.
Yeah, I don't even know what Tito's company is, but this
I don't
guy
know, we'll find out.
This guy named Tito is in charge of the install and the maintenance of the Barone Ranch project, and he's from Chile. And he did restoration down there, and then he ran a huge native plant nursery in Northern California for years, and then he started his own company in San Diego. He did a lot of work in the Tijuana River Valley for years and years and years, and now he's got his foot in the door up here, and I think he has a 5-year contract with the county on this Barone Ranch job. Very, very smart guy, and likes big plants. He's not a. There's different theories of restoration. Some people think you just put a bunch of small plants in the ground and then it'll work. And other people say no, small plants don't work. We need big plants. Tito's a big plant guy, and we sort of agree with Tito more than we agree with these small plant people. So he likes big, well-rooted plants. And very, very sharp guy. He runs a really tight crew, and he's very flexible, which a lot of people aren't. We've got him working with somebody, the Park Service on Santa Cruz Island, that has no flexibility at all. And it's much more fun to work with people that are flexible because you get a better project.
So when somebody's flexible, you still want to make sure you give them really good quality. You know, you don't want to have to make this person be rigid. I mean,
We don't want to piss him off because there's
yeah.
another 5 years of work up
The
there.
reason he can be flexible is because we're giving him good quality. And so when Don says he's flexible, he's not flexible in accepting poor quality versus good quality. He's flexible in his plant palette. So that means
And delivery time.
and delivery times, and so in the plant palette, this is another reason for you to learn all your plants, because basically he's saying, if you give me an equivalent species, so something that's going to fill an equivalent growing niche, then he's okay with that. So if you don't have enough rows, what's equivalent? Okay, you guys got to learn your plants. You're not going to know the answer to that until you know the watering requirements, the soil requirements, the aspect, right?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta learn your plants before you know the answer to that.
Like berries.
Berry's big part of this one. Blackberry.
Yeah, berry could be an equivalent.
They're both kind of like acidic soil.
Yeah.
Sages.
See, so that's where he's being flexible, and he's also being flexible in the sizes, in that he's saying, okay, I got this one spot where these well-rooted 4-inch are going to work. Okay, so we want to